So the big news is that I'm back in Dtravel. If anyone doesn't know, I'm back. Yes, I'm back. I'm back in Dtravel. I'm still got my apartments are still on Dtravel. This is my website, hosted by Dtravel. It's called directstaylondon.com. So you can actually go there now and book. You can book an apartment, my apartment in London, and you can pay by crypto if you want. So that's pretty cool. I mean, telling everyone, if you're interested in Dtravel or TRVL, or you have no idea what it is, then on my channel, I made a video, and that's the one to watch. So this one, big Dtravel changes will cause TRVL to explode in price. I did that 4 days ago. That's the one to watch. And I kind of go over why I'm back and what I expect in the future. And it's amazing because when I look at the charts, forget about these lines because this is just me squiggling a couple of days ago. I like to squiggle. But 4 days ago when I did that video, look at where we were. And already TRVL is up 6.5%. Okay, you could argue that's got everything to do with the crypto markets and the Bitcoin or whatever, but talk about timing, huh? See, it's all about timing, isn't it? When you're kind of investing and you're buying and selling, you have to time it right. Now, what I wanted to do today was basically have a look at the charts, just out of interest, really, out of curiosity more than anything else. Ultimately, what you're looking at is a very low liquid, illiquid token. Yeah. And a lot of the time with these liquid tokens, charting is pointless. A lot of people have said that to me, and I don't disagree. So when you're doing kind of like charting on more liquid tokens, what you're looking at is higher time frame candles where there's a lot of volume. Okay, so this is a combined chart using 4 exchanges: MEXC, KuCoin, Bybit, and Gate.io. It combines all the data, and that's why you don't have the launch data here, because on KuCoin it launched a little bit later, like 1 month later. But ultimately what you're looking at is quite high volume because you're looking at slightly higher time frames, and therefore you can kind of ascertain certain things when you're looking at this. That being said, I do like to look at the charts. I like it just for fun, really. It's more entertainment than anything else, and kind of tell people, if people are looking to buy and sell, where good places to buy and sell are, where the liquidity zones are. I'm going to kind of have a look at the charts now and do that. I'm going to do it on this combined chart. And usually when I do that, let me have a look at this and this. What is this? Yeah, it's the higher time frame levels, volume levels, fib time. What's that? EW. Let's have a look at that. This is old data. EW. That didn't work. So what I'm actually going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete. I'm going to delete all of that, remove all of the drawings, gone, clear. So it's a clean chart. Get rid of the volume, right? And then the first thing you look at, so this is kind of quite interesting for people. It's like they're thinking to themselves, where's a good place to buy? Where's a good place to sell? And I'll tell you. I'll start off with the levels. And so you have monthly levels, and then you just draw these levels, and these are kind of like SR flips or liquidity levels. Okay. And if the price isn't traded through them, that's what you're interested in. So right now you can see that there's 2 monthly levels where the price hasn't traded. And if you look at the historic monthly level, which was there, you can see the price actually did trade to front run that level. That was a very important level. when you go historically, you can see that monthly level was an important level because the price couldn't get through, and historically that level was front run again. So TRVL has a tendency to front run these higher time frame levels, these monthly levels, doesn't it? You can see that. You can see it's done it here. You can see it's done it here. Yeah. And then we have a brand new level here which hasn't been touched. Okay. And so you have to bear that in mind, because if TRVL comes up to 6.1 cent, you could be in a situation when the price does the same thing. It front runs that level just like it has twice in the past. So you have to bear these things in mind. You can't just ignore these things, just because history does like to repeat itself sometimes, and especially when you're looking at a chart and it does the same thing. Okay, a lower high with a level that's been front run. So you mark out these levels, and clearly there's another level here. It's another monthly level. The last time we had kind of a mid drop monthly level was here. I'll show you. I'll just show you here. It was here. So here you can see the price was dropping, and you had a green candle and then the red candle, and then the red candle, green, red, green. So there was another one here. Do you see that? And so in both circumstances, I'm going back in history now, so it's good to look at history when you're looking at how the price behaves around these levels. Historically, as we got a green month here, that level became the back test, became a back test for the next month, didn't it? So it flipped. So if we end up here with a green, red, green, if you end up with a green here, then you could end up with a back test of that level for another push up like that. You could, because we've seen it here already. We've seen that before. But also here you see this level. If we're in this kind of situation here, we could be in a situation where actually the price goes up, expands, and it just hits it and it finds resistance. It took like 3 months to get through that level. So I'm not saying it's going to happen. I just don't know. No one knows how the price is going to behave. But clearly these mid-drop monthly levels resist, don't they? It's not, price isn't just going to go up and not resist. And that's somewhere around a shade under 1 cent. Okay, so I do probably expect there to be some kind of resistance at this first monthly level, and then we have a big gap. But let's have a look at the next kind of levels that we're looking at now, which are the weekly levels that I like to look at. And so it's basically the same thing. I use a different color for weekly levels. We have a weekly level there. I mark it weekly like that. So I'm looking at the untapped levels, the levels which haven't been traded through. And the powerful ones, the strong ones, aren't the mid drop or the mid rise ones, are the ones that where the price actually reverses. Yeah, so right at the top or right at the bottom. Okay, so assuming it's a big assumption, but assuming this week is going to be a green week, we're gonna have a brand new weekly level right there, aren't we? So that hasn't been printed yet because the weekly candle hasn't been printed. Effectively, that's your weekly levels. There is one more there. Now it's been tapped. You see, it's been tapped. It's been traded through, because on that 5th week the price went up, hit it, and it dropped. So you don't care about that because it's already been traded through. And then you have one there, and that's been tapped because the price was hit front run. Okay, then the next one higher up is basically at 17.5. Okay, but it's quite high up. We'll leave it, but it's pointless because it's just too high. So actually we won't. We'll just get rid of it because it's a bit too high. So these are your weekly levels, and again, you're in the same situation. You have to look in historically at the price, how the price behaved at previous weekly levels, and you can clearly see that, let's say here there was one, and the price and then there was another one. Where was it? Kind of there. Well, that was cleared as the price dropped. There, you see that? It took like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks just to get through that level. 6 weeks just to get through that level. Yeah. So we may be in a situation as the price comes up here. We may be in a situation as the price comes up where we end up a little bit stuck in this area. It's possible. And the thing that we need to see with TRVL is continued buying, is bullish structure continuation. So until the price of TRVL takes out that weekly high, which is at 1.24 cents, we're not in a bullish, confirmed bullish market structure just yet. What we need is we need someone to market buy up all the way up above that level for a bullish market structure change. Then this becomes the higher low. Okay, we're still not there yet. Right now we've got the first thing, we've got the higher high, we're looking for a higher low. This could be the higher low, and then what we need is a higher high, and then we have a change of structure to bullish. We're not there, and what we can see clearly now is that we've got these levels which could resist the price, and then the other thing we're looking at now are the daily levels. And so you could do a weekly, monthly, daily, and daily it's going to be less evident or less prominent, but there are levels you can see every time the price, see that one's already cleared because the price went up and cleared it and dropped, cleared it and dropped. These are shit, probably back up there again. Yeah, probably there. I think probably on TRVL I wouldn't necessarily bother with the daily levels, but just for fun, it's all for fun, isn't it? We'll put them in. That's been tapped there. Maybe all of that's been cleared. There is one there, but it's probably rubbish. That's probably been cleared on the way down. These have been cleared, cleared on the way down. So you're creating levels and then you're clearing the levels as the price drops. So again, the next one, so I probably would ignore these daily levels, to be honest with you. Maybe that's your next big one there, that 5.18 up there. That's probably your next big one. Probably these intermediary ones I'd probably ignore. Maybe that's one there too. So you have a bit of resistance area here. And what you can clearly see, and it's quite interesting, is there's a little bit of a black gap. And so while I could draw these levels and imagine that there's some kind of arbitrary level here, I think probably these levels have been cleared just because of the way the price went up, cleared the level and then dropped. Yeah, the next candle, the daily, where it goes up, clears the level and drops, goes up, clears the level and then drops. So actually I think the liquidity of all of this drop has been cleared. All of this drop has been cleared. I don't think there's any liquidity, any resistance, to be honest with you. So all the way up to maybe that weekly level in terms of the way the price moved. And so our next big area, and really the biggest area to cross, is going to be here, isn't it? It's going to be somewhere between 0.09 cents or 0.9 cents and 1.1 cents. There's going to be a little bit of a resistance. We may get into a situation where we kind of consolidate. And I don't mind consolidation, putting a little bit of volume if the price goes up and it consolidates. Like with a bull flag for a breakout to form some kind of inverse head and shoulders. That's kind of what I don't mind. I wouldn't mind that. It'd be quite painful for a lot of people because maybe the rest of crypto is pumping, but it would be kind of nice to create some kind of bottoming structure here. And so at the moment, what I can see is a potential for that if we went up there. You know, like you know, like a kind of a rounding bottom on a slightly higher time frame. I can see potential for that if this low is in. Yeah, but I do probably think we're going to have a little bit of resistance in this area just because of the way historically we've seen the price react of previous levels. And then after you do that, you're going to put your volume in. So I'll just do that now quickly. Okay. And so now this is quite interesting because what you're looking at is the point of control, and the point of control on the combined chart slightly lines up, slightly above, but lines up slightly with this big monthly level, isn't it? And I'm going to mark these. Okay, so that's what I do, I mark them. and call that the value area low. That's the point of control. Again, all of this is entertainment. Entertainment value only. I know there's going to be people out there who, haters will always be haters. They're going to say TA is shit, whatever. You can never please haters, never please haters. Volume level. Let me mark those out. Let me just change this to higher time frame levels. Perfect. I'm going to group those out. So now you can see there's a little bit of a picture forming, a little bit of a story. And so the last thing I want to do, which I haven't done, is new fibs. So I'm drawing new fibs, yeah, and I'm using the log chart. So in case anyone doesn't know or doesn't realize, I use the log chart. I don't use the regular chart because, you know, in exponential assets, especially when there's such high volatility, you have to use log. Don't ask me why. I know the reason, but I just trust me. And I know the all-time high is 1.56. So we'll take it from 1.56 to the all-time low. Mr. Amir, you have 1.4 million TRVL. Where do I get that from? I want more. How do you know I've got 1.4? Maybe I've got 2.4 or 3.4 or 5.4. So just to kind of get these coordinates right, I know what the numbers are, 1.56, and then we're taking it to the all-time low, and we're doing the full fib on the log scale. It's really important, log scale. And it's quite interesting because the 50% mark, which isn't a fib mark level, it's just 50%, comes at pretty much precisely at 9 cents, isn't it? 8.9621. Amazing, isn't it? So we have quite a little bit of a balance in the charts right now, haven't we? We have a little bit of an equilibrium from the all-time high to the all-time low. We know that 50 fib lands at 9 cents. Crazy, huh? Crazy. Crazy. And what's interesting is the 236 comes in at the previous all-time low. So dare I say, I think the low is in because the fibs give us a little bit of a confirmation of that. That was the all-time low, and that's the 236. 9 cents we know is a historic SR flip because it was the token launch price on the exchanges, and that is now the 50% mark. And the golden pocket is somewhere between 17.5, and we know 17.5 is a big resistance zone. Why? Because I've already talked about it being this monthly level. I'm going to put it back in. Okay, put it back in. Zoom this out then. Was it monthly or weekly? Probably weekly. Weekly, yeah, it's that weekly level. Look, see that? Bam. Amazing, 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 amazing that your fibs have actually confirmed so much about the charts just based on this all-time low that we've just put in now. Not now, but in April. These are our levels, guys. So on the way up, every single one of these fib levels is going to act as resistance. It's just the way the price moves. The price moves between fib to fib. And isn't it amazing that based on this pivot low, the 236 went all the way up to the 50 fib there before it collapsed down to put in an all-time low. Isn't that amazing? So there is a little bit of confirmation here that the ratios are correct. The timings are correct. This chart is a really nice chart, to be honest with you. And so in my mind, what I would do now is I'd chuck in all those levels again. And the black space is basically no resistance, and the lines represent resistance on the way up, and all those lines have to be flipped into every single horizontal line has to be flipped back into support. Okay, on the journey up we have to flip every single line into support. It's just the way it works. And so When you're selling, you sell into those lines, and when you're buying, as the price comes down, you buy on those lines, horizontal lines. Okay. At the moment, we can clearly see that there's a resistance somewhere about there, which is the monthly level and the point of control. That's your first big resistance. Then you've got some resistance at about 1.1, so 0.009, 0.011. So you've got resistance, resistance, and so we may be in a situation as the price, we've got no resistance now all the way up. Basically, as the price starts going up for another 60, 70, 60%, there's no resistance. And then you have resistance. You have resistance, resistance. And then if we can get into a situation where we can get up somehow and flip this area into support, then we could go up to the 236, which is actually, because on its own, it looks like it could be strong resistance, but actually it probably isn't. Probably isn't. It looks like it could be, but it probably isn't, because it's on its own. It's kind of, it's not much confluence there. You could get a reaction, but you could also just smash through it. And really, the next kind of area of real big resistance, and really what you're looking for, is confluence. Confluence is really important, because that is where you got bigger lines lining up, is somewhere around 4.4, 4.5, 4.5 cents, 4.6 cents. Basically, this is why I was talking about that channel that we lost before the big drop. That's basically, I think, an area, a destination, potentially for a lower high. And then the other thing you can do is you can do local fib. Why this is a higher time frame fib. What I could also do is a local fib. So just from the last pivot to the all-time low, to look for confluence. And actually you can see that the golden pocket of this drop actually comes in at the value area high. So there is a little bit of confluence too at 3.4 cents. Yeah. But that's it. It's kind of like fibs lining up with volume. There's obviously resistance zone here, which has to be flipped. There's clearly going to be a little bit of resistance here at the previous all-time low. Then you're going to hit resistance here at the golden pocket stroke value area high. Then higher up, you're going to hit resistance here and here. These are kind of your resistance areas now on the way up. And if we're lucky, we could get all the way up to there. That's your resistance. Once you get past that level, you're pumping, basically. You're pumping. Your next level is 17 cents, 17 and a half. And that will become, yeah. So, but if we were to go all the way up to 17 and a half cents from here, I mean, that'd be ridiculous. It'd be like a 3,000% increase in value. That would be like a gift, wouldn't it? It'd be a gift. So this is kind of your resistance areas, and every single area has to be flipped back into support. What I'm seeing though is, because this drop was so crazy to the downside, it is possible, if we can form some kind of reversal structure here, that we could, bam, we can, like an inverse head and shoulders or some kind of whatever, complicated. It'll be a complex inverse head and shoulders. Effectively, you're looking at a left shoulder, a complicated head, and a right shoulder. That's kind of what I'm imagining right now, a complicated inverse head and shoulders. So we're still in the head, but the head isn't a one-phased head, it's a two-phased head. It's like a two-pronged head with a slightly higher low. Yeah, so that's your left shoulder, this is your head. It'd be nice to take out the neckline, because that will be a change in market structure, and then we can put in the right shoulder. That's really what I want to see now, a change in market structure followed by a flip of this point of control into support for a right shoulder, and then we can ping up. And I think probably if we did that, we'd probably go all the way in a very dramatic way. We'd probably go up to there. That would be our first kind of area. Your big target would be somewhere around there. That's what I'm imagining. Okay, and then we have to see what happens, because No one knows. No one knows what's going to happen, because then, you know, a lot of people would have been like, I'm already 500% up. That's quite good for a lot of people. They'll probably take their profit, walk away. Probably a lot of people. And then the question then is, do people buy back in? Because if people start selling, you're going to get in, you're going to get sell pressure, and you could quite easily form some kind of lower high here for continuation. Yeah, totally could happen. Like with TRVL, I'm not going to be crazy bullish, crazy bearish. I'm just going to look at the charts and just judge it. But then you could end up in a situation when you fall all the way back to the golden pocket of wherever you put that pivot high, which would be a back test of back to this zone again, all the way back down to 1 cent. You could totally do that, you know. To create a higher time frame structure, it kind of invalidates this range a little bit and this previous all-time low, but it might not matter, because maybe that's what we need to do. We need to have a higher time frame structural change. There's lots of things that can happen, but like I said before, Dtravel is seriously looking at marketing. Marketing is a big game changer in my opinion, and so if the marketing is good, there's no reason why we can't just pump. That's really, in this kind of alt season that we're about to experience, it's all about marketing. Yeah, it's less about fundamentals, it's less about anything else. It's all about making people believe that this is going to be the next big thing. And so that's really the kind of the line, the track that I'm on, the marketing side. And well, the information that I'm giving you guys is for your benefit. Anyone who watches my video, gives you areas that you can buy and sell if you're looking to do that, or areas that you're looking for a clean exit. And obviously, when I was talking about fib time, I was looking at the MACD chart just because it has the original launch date, and I was just making this up, so just ignore that. I was looking at a bottom being putting in April, and then for us topping out in December. That's what I'm looking for, a top in December. Yeah, I'm looking for a top in this. I'm looking for the bottom to be put in now, and for us to top out in December. So I'm keenly looking at to see where we get in December, to see how this plays out. I'll be looking at all these charts, and at the same time, if there's a chance that we can, this is really important, if there's a chance that we can take out this pivot here at 9 cents, and I don't know, bam, let's say December, like that, to put in a higher high, not another lower high, a higher high, then we could have a really nice higher time frame structural change where you could end up going all the way down, putting in a higher low, and it won't matter because we're now putting in higher highs and higher lows. Yeah, that's kind of what we want to see. We want to see a higher time frame structural change, but it's going to take a little bit of time to play out just because of the momentum of the market, and we have to see this next pump season what happens to the charts. Like when I'm looking at the charts now, let me just hide all these lines now. Hopefully you've all kind of copied what I've done, so you have it on your own charts. When I'm looking at the movement of the price now, yeah, this is looking really nice, isn't it? We're getting some bullish divergences here on the RSI, aren't we? Yeah, bullish divergences. When I'm looking at the CCI, I'm seeing a clear breakout here on the CCI. See that? Not breakout. The CCI is a leading indicator, so I like to look at that. And when you're honing into the local price action, we're seeing some really nice bullish divergences on the MACD. You see, the MACD is going down, and the price is actually either going sideways or going up. So we got some real nice bullish divergence. It says bear there, maybe it was bearish there, but actually now it's looking quite bullish. So you're getting some bullish, like a bullish on the local time frame. You're getting some kind of nice bullish flat correction here. 1, 2, maybe that's your white wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe another 5 there to take us to higher prices here. And that's just on a local level. but because of the way the price dropped, I wouldn't be surprised if the price kind of goes up, and just goes up, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's what happens when the price collapses suddenly. The price, when it goes the other way, it starts to go up suddenly. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're back at kind of this area very soon. Yeah, and then if that happens, we are looking to form what I was suggesting, some kind of complicated inverse head and shoulders, and then if we get a nice breakout of that, we could be back at 3.3 very quickly. Little breakout from an inverse head and shoulders with a little bit of volume. I don't know if the previous all-time low is going to offer much resistance, to be honest with you. Probably 3.3 is my initial target. It would be my target for something like this, probably. Yeah, that's kind of where I would be targeting for a big take profit. And then I'd be looking for some kind of range bound consolidation or big pullback or big corrective or something. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. In terms of wave-based, Elliott wave-based theory, let's just say hypothetically this was your wave one. Okay, it's all hypothetical, isn't it? It's all entertainment. Let's say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could probably check to see if this was a correct wave one. The invalidation is these all-time lows, so as long as we don't take that low, we're still good for this initial wave one. What time is it? I'm almost out of time, so I'm going to finish this video. Let's say that was your wave one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just draw it out so you can see. Something like this, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. It went up to 1.272. The 1-to-1 held as resistance. You see that? The 1 to 3 coincides with the 618. It's a bit messier, a little bit messy. The liquid tokens at these levels, it's always a little bit messy. So your 618 lands at 9.009. So that's probably going to be start seeing a little bit of resistance, and then a 1-to-1 will take us to for an extended up to we have to see how this next one plays out, if we do get a nice wave here or not. Yeah, because if that is your wave one, then you're basically looking at 1, 2, you're looking at like something like this. You're looking for a really nice 5-wave impulse to push us to an extended push. And honestly, it'd be so amazing if we could go all the way up to 3 cents now, because that would give us room for a pullback, because then the pullback can't come underneath this, the top of this one, which would be at 1.2 cents. So it'd be anywhere, but it can't come underneath. It can't do that. We'd have to be there, and then we can get a 5, and that's kind of, and actually the higher the better. So this is really what I was talking about with these impulsive waves. The more the better. And what I'd be interested to see now is how this plays out when we get an impulsive wave. It looks like we could start to impulse. I'd like to see how this next wave expands. Do we go to the 2, which would be at about 3.1, 3.2 cents, or do we kind of fall flat at the all-time low, previous all-time low, which is about just under 2 cents, or the 1.618 on this ratio? Either way, for this to be valid, you can't come back underneath there. So you could get like a MUT like that for another impulse. And if you get into a situation like that, then you're in a situation slightly different where you actually started waving there, but then the next wave could pull back. It'd be more like this. Wherever that 5 lands, that would complete your first slightly higher time frame wave, wherever that 5 lands. But the 2 could come all the way back, as long as it doesn't come back below the 0 point of the red. And so you could actually get back all your gains just to have a wave 3. And the wave 3 would have to be bigger than where this ended, wherever that one ended, because that's the rules. Because you have a wave 3 and then you have a wave 5 where the 4 can't come underneath the 1. Then you have 5. So I am quite optimistic that we're probably going to end up in higher prices, but we have to kind of see how this next impulse plays out. Really important to see what happens next. The more the better, the higher the better. Like if we could impulse now on the wave 3 all the way up to there, it changes things significantly. Yeah, and it's interesting that the 2.618 is the 5.5 cent level, which was also a historic resistance level. That is just based on this first wave. So for me, that looks quite sound, huh? The 2 points, this fib extension looks quite sound from the 0 to the 1 to the 2, which is beginning now. We're beginning the 3, this blue 3 now. Looks quite good, like some good fib ratios on this chart. So I'll kind of leave this here and we'll come back to it as time passes, and we'll just track it. And so, not financial advice. I'm not telling you where to buy and sell. I'm just telling you good places where the price could find support and could find resistance, yeah, based on confluence and level, volume, fibs, higher time frame, liquidity levels, Elliott Wave, pivots, and extended fibs. Basically, I'm kind of looking at those 5 things. All right, that's kind of bringing me to the end of this stream.